On My Media Prime Television with me, Audrey Zatsa. Members of the African Communication Regulation Authorities Network, abbreviated as ECRAN, met in Yaoundé yesterday for the 9th ordinary session. ECRAN aims through the synergy of exchanges at consolidating the technical, professional and institutional authority of each of the 35 member authorities. Created since 1998 in Libreville, Gabon, the founding fathers of ECRAN assigned several missions to themselves: the improvement of the media regulatory cooperation on the continent, the protection of press freedom, and the development of African media corporations. This year's seminar is organized under the theme 20 Years of ECRAN, Challenges and Prospects. And presiding over the 9th ordinary session of ECRAN was the Cameroon's president of the National Communication Council, Joseph Chebonken Kalabopse, who equally doubles as president of ECRAN. Let's get what he had to say.
This is the steering committee meeting of ECRAN, the Pan-African Union of Media Regulators. And the steering committee is here in Yaoundé to lay down the groundwork for the organization in the months ahead of a Pan-African conference that will be taking place in Morocco. The rules that govern ECRAN say that the presidency is held by a country for 2 years, and you hand it over to the vice president. And so because of the advent of the COVID pandemic, Cameroon, that took over the presidency of ECRAN, could not hand over in 2021. We took over in 2019, and so Cameroon, we are here in Yaoundé. The steering committee is here to prepare for the next continental rendezvous. For now, it has a membership of about 36 African countries. One of the things which we want to do in Yaoundé is to try to see if we can encourage other African countries of the 54 that are on the continent to all be part of this Pan-African Union.
At least 8 persons are reported dead in a road accident. The tragedy occurred around midnight on February 15 at Loum Kilomètre 99 littoral on the National Road number 5. According to corroborating sources, a 70-seater bus leaving Douala for Bamenda and a 30-seater coaster leaving Buda in the west region for Douala collided. 8 people died, including the driver, and several were seriously injured. Survivors said speeding was the cause of the accident. The Lamido of Garoua in the North region is said to have been arrested and charged with a murder. His Majesty Ibrahim El Rashidin was charged by the police for the death of Ali Yusuf, his nephew, reportedly killed inside the palace on January 31, 2022. Details right ahead. The death of Ali Yusuf, a nephew to the Lamido of Garoua, Ibrahim El Rashidin, on January 31, 2022 at the Garoua's Lamidat, in circumstances not yet elucidated, is still the topic of discussions amongst many, especially in the north region of the country. After the administrative authorities took up the case, demanding the exhumation of the remains for an autopsy, due to several testimonies reporting torture and abuse, the case has been brought before the Garoua Military Tribunal. According to reports, the autopsy quickly confirmed the acts of torture, and the Lamido, a gendarmerie officer with a career in military security, was charged with torture and homicide. The elder sister of the Lamido of Garoua, mother of Ali Yusuf, and 3 members of the father, including 2 soldiers in the service of the Lamido, are equally said to have been referred to the military court. Sources say from preliminary investigations, all carried out the instructions of the Lamido. The young man was allegedly killed and buried the next day in a cemetery in the city. On February 4, when the angry crowd threatened to lynch the Lamido, the security forces had taken him from his residence to the premises of the Garoua Gendarmerie to hear him. In his defense, he had initially declared that the tragedy had occurred while his close guard was trying to control the young man, who was, according to him, under the influence of drugs. Ibrahim El Rashidin was elected Lamido last May following the death of Alim Hayatou, who was equally Secretary of State to the Minister of Health. Search operations is still underway in Ekangte, a neighborhood in Kongsamba 2, following the kidnap of a young boy. 20-year-old Chup Christian was abducted on his way to the farm on Sunday, February 13, and a ransom of 205,000 francs CFA demanded has caused panic in the neighborhood. Details with a phone printer.
Residents of a Kangte neighborhood in Kongsambatu Mungo division of the Lithura region are still in a state of confusion following the kidnap of 20-year-old Su Christian Delo, an upper sixth student at Manengoba High School. Christian was reportedly kidnapped by unknown men at about 5:30 a.m. on Sunday, February 13, 2022. According to the boy's mother, he was kidnapped on his way to the farm. We woke up at about 5 a.m. and dressed up. The child said he will go ahead. I told him when he gets to the farm, he should harvest the maize. I will come. Let's carry it together. When I left the house, my kid sister in Banjun called and asked where the child was. I responded in front, we are going to the farm. She said the Lojo sent her a message that on his way to the farm, someone hit his head. I rushed back home, and his elder brother informed me that his kidnappers had demanded the sum of 205,000 before 12 a.m. and if we fail to do so, he will be killed.
Son grand frère vient de me dire que les gens l'ont demandé 205 000 avant 12 heures. Que si on ne donne pas 205 000 avant 12 heures, on va le tuer.
The quarter head of a county will mobilize the population after receiving the information for the expansions.
Oui, ce matin, aux environs de, je crois c'est 6h30.
At about 6:30 a.m., I received information that there is a problem in my quarter. I was told a child who went to the farm with his mom has been kidnapped. The child was kidnapped by unknown men.
L'enfant était devant, sa mère était derrière, et que la maman était surprise, elle était éloignée, et elle a été surprise qu'on l'appelle depuis Bafoussam pour demander que où est.
He sent a message to his sister in the West region, who later called their mother, who was surprised. There is general panic, and the police has been alerted.
La mère était surprise, subitement, la panique générale, et elle s'est rendue à la brigade.
Sergio, one of those who received a message from Christian, narrates how it unfolded. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I check my phone. When I picked up my phone, I saw a message from Su Christian. He wrote, Sergio, please pray for me. I have been kidnapped. I replied, how is that possible? And he said he is behind a car with his mouth tied. When I asked him where, he said he doesn't want to die. I should pray for him. When I asked further questions, he didn't respond. At Press R, investigation has been launched by law enforcement officials to track down the kidnappers and accomplices.
On our health page, we talk about congenital heart defects, and the month of February is set aside to create awareness regarding this illness. Our health reporter, Bokengo Wadi, tells us a little more about this disease.
Affecting an estimated 1.35 million babies yearly, congenital heart defect is an abnormality of the heart of a baby that develops before birth, which can affect the structure and functioning of the heart, bearing different forms such as valve defect, tetralogy of Fallot, hole in heart or septal defect, ventricular septal defect, atrial septal defect, single ventricle, pulmonary atresia, hypoplastic left heart syndrome, coarctation of the aorta, and many more. The health condition possesses signs and symptoms which may differ due to the defect affecting the baby, its type, and severity. However, some general signs and symptoms in baby to watch out for include sleepiness, tiredness during feeding, fast or difficulty in breathing, swollen body parts, tissues, or organs, blue-tinted skin, abnormal development, shortness of breath, and many more. It is worth mentioning that a child is born with a form or type of congenital heart defect around the world every 15 minutes, and an estimated 25 of these children will need at least one successful heart surgery before their first birthday. The health condition has no known cause, however. A combination of genes and some factors such as environment, smoking, alcohol consumption, lack of physical exercise, poor diet, some medication, and more consumed during pregnancy can birth any kind and form of congenital heart defect. To this regard, Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week seeks to encourage pregnant women on the need of a good lifestyle choice during pregnancy and the importance of folic acid consumption before, during, and after pregnancy, especially during their first trimester, so as to help lower the risk of birthing a child with congenital heart defect as well as global burden worldwide.
And out of the country, the Court of Cassation in France has definitely closed a probe into a plane attack that killed the former Rwandan President Habyarimana on the eve of the genocide. On Tuesday, February 15, the French highest court dismissed an appeal by relatives of the April 1994 victims. Reports say when family members of the French flight crew brought their case to court in 1998, they suspected Rwandan soldiers and close Kagame aides, including Rose Kabuye, of being behind the attack. The attack of President Juvenal Habyarimana's plane upon his return from Tanzania with Burundian President Cyprien Ntaryamira is known as the event that sparked the Rwanda genocide. U.S. police are said to be investigating Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United forward, for alleged rape. According to The Sun, a British newspaper, the police thought they had enough evidence to arrest and charge him, but a higher official intervened. It is alleged Cristiano Ronaldo raped a certain Catherine Mayoga dating back in 2009. The Las Vegas police, before being prevented, had a warrant for Ronaldo's arrest being assigned. The district attorney of Las Vegas in Nevada, USA, who is the lead prosecutor, prevented the arrest without giving reasons. That was it for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You have more stories on our 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina and our 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinter. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama, and her ladies. Have a nice time.